Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the episode of the No Bangers Sports Card Podcast. Episode number 21.
Uno.
I am joined by the illustrious co-host, Mr. Rod from Picking and Punching Cards, Cary from American Arbitrage Cards, and I am Tim from Over the Years Sports. And thank you all for joining us. Before we get started here today, because I'm going to do this thing where I hijack the first couple minutes of the episode before we do anything.
Ramble time.
I'd like to thank our Wealthy as a Rod members here on the No Bangers podcast. We have Kelly Gruber,
Kelly
Devin,
Gruber? From
Devin
the Blue
White,
Jays?
Hal
sick.
Morris.
Hal
We
Morris.
also Chili Davis,
Hate
Chili
you guys.
Davis, dude.
I hate
Ron
everyone.
Gant,
Ron Gant.
Is Reggie Sanders one of them?
Brett
Dude,
Butler.
we're not playing this damn game where we do freaking
Reggie-
just random players all day long.
Guess
no,
who
we're
just
not playing-
signed up for the healthy?
Luis Polonia. Did Luis Polonia sign up?
No. Guess who just signed up though for Wealthy as a Rod membership here on No Bangers? Andy Van Slyke.
And,
Oh, my God.
dude. Because his son, Scott Van Slyke, is already a member. So
Yeah.
that makes perfect sense.
And
I like the Vance
last
like
but
both you
certainly
guys,
not
right in
least,
the mouth, all right?
Delino DeShields.
Oh,
Also,
yes. Delino DeShields.
Thank
the
you guys
best
for
rookie
joining the
card in
membership.
1990 Donruss by far.
Worst
appreciate you
opening
guys.
ever, all right? Worst opening ever.
You feel insecure because you can't go toe to toe.
I just read names off of the Hardy's Major League lineup
going-
checklist.
I was
Nicely
going.
played.
What do they say? Al dente. I was going al dente.
Give you a nice little golf clap for that one. Way to go there, buddy, all right? Way
If
to
you guys are interested in signing up for the Wealthy as a
Yeah, there's
Rod
a lot
tier,
of
please.
mid tier
Just-
80s and 90s baseball players who are members
What
allegedly.
an idiot. Nicely played, though. Nicely
That was
played. So,
People seem to
Man.
like that. Everybody likes that segment that we just.
but
make
me,
up.
no
But
one likes
you.
that damn segment. All right, let's be honest. You guys just waste time. These people have a very small amount of time. They want to listen to
Dude.
No Bangers, talk about some good
It's no
stuff.
bangers, man. We're gonna help you sell the $7 cards. It'll be all right.
Whoa,
you can
that's-
wait like 3 minutes. We'll be okay.
Please make sure you drop your favorite obscure athlete in the comment section below.
The more obscure, the
So I
better.
can give you a thumbs down, all right, for every athlete. That
We're
Flood
looking-
the comments.
We're looking
No.
back
Flood
up.
the comments.
Listen, I handle a
Backup
lot of comments.
Swedish
Do not do that.
Olympic hockey players from the 70s. That's what we're looking at. That level. No Google.
This is just.
You could
this
use
is already
Chad.
going downhill.
You could use Chad GPT though.
Chad GPT. Jeez.
Oh,
Well,
man.
on a serious note here, guys, we're going to do a deep dive today about all these major corporations coming to the hobby world and what it means for us. But man, how was your guys' weekend, man? Let's start off with you, Tim.
Wait, first off, is Dick's Sporting Goods a major corporation now?
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
oh, I didn't know that, but they,
Are they?
once they took
didn't
down, they had corporate espionage and took down Sports Authority.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I'm
There's
wrong
a
then.
movie coming out about it, I think.
Dude, is there really a
next
movie
year.
coming out about it?
Yeah.
Hold on, guys. Allegedly, all right? I'm not getting
Allegedly on everything.
Yeah. Not saying
Everything
you
we
get
say.
sued by a dick, all right? It's
Yeah.
just say, all right? That's not what
Yeah.
I want to happen these days. But
Yeah,
is
there's
alleged,
there's a
guys.
movie coming out next year, I believe, called The Takedown of by Big Dicks. And
Big Dick's takedown.
Big Dicks Takedown.
we are 3 minutes and 52
There we
seconds.
go.
into the podcast.
We've been demonetized.
It's already down the shitter, I guess you'd say. Right?
Why even
Well,
bother?
that means-
Shooter.
Shooter.
McGavin.
Oh man!
yeah.
All right, let's jump in here, man. How was your guys' weekend, man? Did you go card hunting?
I went to
know
a card show.
You didn't do very well though. I heard
No,
this
listen,
weekend.
it depends on what you want to consider very well, right? I will tell you, anytime you get to, and I mentioned this in the video that should be coming out this week. It's anytime you get to go to a card show for me is fun, right? It's just as much of networking and keeping up your appearances with all the people that set up at these shows. Like I run into people that go to shows like I do at these shows. I run into the vendors that I see every time I go to a show. And so like the show itself was good. Like the turnout, fantastic. 100 tables, like free entry. You know, you don't have to pay anything like to go into the card show. But it's just I'm starting to see more and more Pokemon at some of these cards shows, which is. I had a conversation with a couple of vendors, and I had a conversation with another card show promoter who likes to keep his show strictly, more towards sports. But it makes sense to incorporate some of this Pokemon stuff because that's what people want, and you can kind of kill two birds with one stone. But they watched my video that I put out last week when I was at the card shop, and they're like, I saw you bought some Pokemon. I was like, yeah, I failed miserably at that. I ran all those Pokemon cards on dibditcards.com, and obviously I didn't know what I was buying, so they weren't necessarily like, they weren't bangers, but they weren't even like bangers.
Whoa. Can you even say that around here? Like
that's what I said. They weren't like just not bangers, but they were like no banger.
Wait, are you
bangers.
enforcing no banger rules, Mister? I'll buy a case. Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Listen,
I almost put my name as I'm gonna buy a case.
But listen, I actually didn't buy the case, so technically I'm good to go. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I actually did buy a case of Series 2 Topps baseball, but that's a story for another day. All right.
Yeah. So it was but I did have one table. And I have bought from this guy before previously. He's not at like all the shows because he is located in Pennsylvania. So he does more of like the Pittsburgh area shows, but he comes down to some of these like Northern Maryland shows. And he always has a table. And it's like 2 tables, and he just stacks up maybe like this amount of cards. And he just spreads stacks like this tall all throughout the 2 tables. And it's just $1 for everything.
Oh.
And
I'm
it's
not putting it in
like
boxes though.
Yeah,
that'd be much easier to
well,
look through.
he also has boxes and he has a showcase. So it's a really interesting setup because what it allows you is to kind of I thought it was a good setup because it allows people to look through the boxes, but it also has people at your table looking through the cards on the table, and it's also on the sides of the showcase. So the showcase people are looking at the showcase. So it's like nicely spread out. Then he had like 3 tables of nothing but like $3, $5, $10, $15 cards, all spread out like next to each other, like like cards like this, like just like next to each other on the table. So like I go through the dollar stacks first, and I'm building up a stack, some nice stuff, and then I go through the dollar box of baseball stuff, and there's tons of first Bowman, no 2025 stuff, but tons of first Bowman refractors, some color stuff like that, numbered stuff, all $1. And then he had half off baseball stacks, and that's where I got the Dalton Rushing auto, and then I got the Bubba Chandler first Bowman refractor, which already sold. And then I ended up buying 95 cards, I think it was, and I spent $85 on 95 cards.
So that's $1 card.
Yeah,
Okay.
so a little bit less than $1 card. Turned out really good. I actually did sudden death with 7 sudden death live auctions on Dibdit Cards with like 95% of the cards that I bought. And so like I did well. I mean, I think I still have probably 35 cards left and still have 2 or 3 of the autos left. I sold the Bubba Chandler first refractor during that live, but I mean, I did like $120, like just on the sudden death singles. So it turned out to be good. Like it was a quick move, because it wasn't a lot of volume that I picked up at the show, but it was good stuff that I thought would be interesting for people to buy, especially like with the baseball stuff. Kind of gives you an opportunity to kind of like talk about some of these prospects and them getting called up. But yeah, I went to the flea market on Sunday, drove 2 hours, left DC at 3:45 in the morning. Did buy a stack of cards at the flea market.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I did.
Going to my realm in Cary's realm there.
Yeah. So the amount of yellow cases and like
oh, dude, yeah,
broken our
that
world,
is a
buddy.
flea market staple. It's just like
and then, like
70 years of smoke inhalation.
The ones that have been bent because they've been sitting in the sun for the last 3 years.
The card
the video
savers.
Yeah, I just put out a video just like during this podcast, right when we started, of last week at the Webster, and I got that vintage haul. Like some of the cards like as early as 55, like Bowman football. And a lot of them were just totally yellow to, top loaders. That's just
It looks
part
like
of it.
someone just peed all over the top of the top loaders. Like that's what it looks like because they're so
Exactly, yeah.
yellow. Like when you get those like vintage ones, man.
Exactly.
Happens all the time. How about you, Cary? You went to car show this weekend.
Yeah, I went to the 5th Saturday show. My first time going in St. Augustine, which I love St. Augustine. That's kind of like the closest. I've never been to that show, but that's like the closest area that has a show to me, which is still almost an hour away from me. But it was awesome. I mean, majorly because my guy from K&T, Mike, was there, and he had 12 fresh new dollar boxes.
Dude.
So I got like 175 cards, light work. I could have dug deeper, but 175 cards for like 120, 125, so under $1. And then I just went over to another table on the way out because I had a little cash left that I wanted to spend, and I found yet another McGonagall. I am the McGonagall whisperer everywhere. It's always like the Lee for the wild card, but McGonagall, like we've talked about, one of the top prospects for the Tigers. I think right below Max Clark, top like 26 in the top 100. I mean, every time I've found an auto of his lately, it's been like 15, 20 minimum on the low end, like non-Bowman stuff. And then obviously you found Bowman stuff, it'd be worth a lot more. So that was fun. That was like under $5 once the deal was done.
Let me ask you this, because I think you're starting to do a lot of this. Excuse me. A lot more baseball, obviously, right? Yeah. But isn't it interesting how the difference between the major car company autos of a guy like McConaughey versus let's say something in Leaf in football, or even like a draft prism draft picks in football or basketball, when their main cards come out, the ability to sell those cards are a lot harder than a McConaughey whose first Bowman just came out, but his other stuff is not nearly as difficult to sell as it would be for a football or basketball rookie. Would you say that's true?
I'm noted. Yeah, I get that vibe. I mean, this is non-scientific, so I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, I feel that. I feel that because I've sold the McGonagall stuff I've gotten pretty quickly. And his, I don't think I'm going to have any trouble selling this wild card auto. I think from what I'm noticing, focusing a little bit more on baseball prospects and flipping them quick, is that there's just an overall bigger demand for a lot of this stuff than there is, especially football's off season right now, so everything's a little slowed down. But there's so much, it feels like there's so much demand that it will siphon off into be I'm not spending whatever a McGonagall auto is, $80 for a Bowman first base auto. I'll go spend $20-$25 for the Leaf because I'm a Tigers fan. I think it feels like there's a lot more fans too buying these than there are with football card flipping or basketball card flipping.
It's one of those things that we've talked about time and time again on No Bangers, is that some people just want to have that player's autograph, and to have that affordability versus a first Bowman auto is night and day, but it's still room for people like us to make money on,
Yeah, and that's why Leaf and Sage and Wild Card, albeit, and sometimes the Leaf stuff looks amazing. Definitely a lot of Leaf product I've opened, like the Vivid, I think looks better than a lot of the Topps unlicensed stuff, for example. But that's why it's so desirable in the bargain boxes, because yes, of course, it's not the licensed stuff, but you're getting an Aiden Hutchinson or a Garrett Wilson or a Chris Olave auto, super cheap, just because it's not on a license tag, and then there's going to be people who are fans of those guys, and they'll.
What about the Dalton Rushing auto I got out of Onyx? If you guys aren't following over the years sports on Facebook, follow me on Facebook, and you guys can see that
Dalton yesterday or the day before. Dalton, here's a little niche that I like that is technically licensed. It's not super popular, but it's fun. Is Pro Debut. Topps Pro Debut.
I love Pro Debut.
I've sold 2 Pro Debut Dalton Rushings lately. I think I paid $5 or less for both of them. And they sold for 12 to 18 or something a piece. They didn't sell for a lot of money. I think the last one I sold at 12 only because I put it through auction.
That's going to be a great break on Dibdit Cards that we can.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do Pro Debut for sure. I'm doing a pack break on Tuesday. So yesterday when this comes out of Sage, because every pack has an auto. So it'll be kind of fun for people and inexpensive. So
listen, I always tell you guys, I collect UFC autographs of the legends, and I don't need number cards. I just want the actual autograph. So it doesn't really matter to me. So I see the big appeal to Leaf and all these other companies, because if you're just a fan of the player or a fan of the team, getting these autographs for cheap is cost efficient. You know what I mean? I find it ridiculous that people pay $300 for the same exact autograph just because it's numbered to at a 10 or at a 20, or you know what I mean? Like it's just the same autograph, you know?
Yeah, and it's, allegedly to some degree, manufactured scarcity too. I mean, they're just doing a blue version to 10, a 15 to purple. You know what I mean? There's so much, there might be overall in the total number of autographs less in the Leaf products. I don't know this for a fact. Than all of the products with all the different variations in the bigger companies. I don't know. So it's
Rod, you can sign up for notification on the release of 2025 Pro Debut.
Okay. Yeah, I'll get on that.
Don't step on his case. He's got at least one case in his. I might buy 2 boxes just to try to keep up.
Okay, there we go. Well, so why don't you guys ask me how my card show went this weekend?
You didn't go. Did you?
No, I actually want to go to a card show. I went Sunday morning. I got up, got my GoPro, got all my money, ready to go, and realized the car show was Friday, Saturday. So in my area, they rotate days. So some of the car shows do Saturday, Sunday. The other ones do Friday, Saturday. My wife got hurt, so I had to drive around some doctor's appointments and take care of some stuff. So I can only go on Sunday, and unfortunately, there's no card show on Sunday.
You did go through a trash bag of Super Nintendo games though on Saturday.
I did. That's right. I did go through that.
And I am officially now not just sports card seller and content creator in that order, by the way, but I am also a Bergie flipper. So
yeah, exactly. He is a yacht flag Bergie connoisseur extraordinaire. You've already sold 2. You should tell people about that.
Sold two yacht flags already out the door this morning.
And
$140, man.
And this information is going to be completely useless because we're the No Banger Sports Card Podcast where the people are buying dollar cards, not flags for their yachts, my friend.
That's what I told the guy. I was like, the guy's like
Jeff
smoking
Wilson
a cigar.
Could be listening. We don't know.
Yeah, allegedly. Right. I'm like, listen, dude. Like, I was trying to. This guy was stone cold, not like following in negotiations. I even did the hug. I went to the hug last resort.
Oh yeah, that usually works.
He lit up his cigar, and I was like, this guy's not going in for a hug. And I was just like,
dude, how do you not hug the Liver King right here? The Timu Liver King, all right? The Timu
I should have told him
King.
that. I was like, dude, haven't you seen me on Netflix? Man, I'm the Liver King, bro. But like, he was just, I'm like, dude, I don't even know what these are, man. Like, I don't even know. I've never even been on a yacht in my life. Like, how do I even know what these? I don't know anything, dude. I'm going in this is blind. He's like, nah, I can't do it, man. He's like, they've been selling for like, I'm just like, all right, man. Like, I'm like kicking myself because I should have just bought the whole damn box for $60 when I asked him, and he was like $60, and I was like, dude, come on, let's do $40. So
what's my rule, buddy? You never regret buying something, but you always regret not buying something. Yeah. So if you feel the urge to buy it, you guys need to bite the bullet and buy it.
Tell that to the people in like 2004 who bought cars with like fish tanks in them, dude. They probably regret that. That's not good for gas mileage. You got to keep it up. You got to get like special septic tanks. That's a lot of money.
Who's flipping cars with gas tanks? I mean, with fish tanks in them and stuff like that.
No, I'm talking about Pimp My Car.
You remember that? Oh, yeah.
I'm saying like you might regret some of your old purchases is what I'm saying. Like you should think about him sometimes.
I definitely regret buying massive amounts of 2020 Prism baseball off mega boxes. That was just horrible.
You live and you learn. But
I mean, are you going to regret the Squish Malo case you bought?
Rod?
I didn't buy a Squish Malo case. Stop putting out those rumors in the window, right?
Dave was breaking Squish Malo.
Squish Malo's pretty. We opened some for Callie's birthday, and they're actually pretty good. They were surprisingly interesting, better than other cards I've opened recently.
Dude, speaking about
better than honestly, it was kind of more fun than Optic because Optic's like. You want to spend a lot of money on base cards, basically?
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Dylan Lobb, Purple Shocks.
Oh, dude, I got a Devontae Walker color match Purple Shock. Mark that down as $1.50 value right there.
Did you see any new select football on the floor at all at the card show?
I saw a lot of Bowman 2025, but I didn't notice any select.
Select just came out, so I don't think.
Yeah, that's why I was curious because anytime a new product comes out, I always.
Select's going to go retail again, right? Like it's going to be a full retail product as usual. Select kind of lost a lot of its luster once it became a retail hobby.
I mean, the way Card Collector 2 and them been talking about Select, like, did you watch the Tyler and Ryan Cards and Content episode?
Yeah, I watched, I think, almost all of it, yeah.
Yeah, it was a good one. And they talked a little bit about something that we're all three of us always talk about, especially if you guys watch our live auctions. Well, Ryan talked about in the beginning of the episode about like somebody had asked him, would you rather have a game worn patch sticker auto or a on card auto?
No, it's on card with just a patch or something like that.
I thought it was like a game used, game worn.
That's what I'm saying. Game used sticker, game used patch card with a sticker auto or an on card auto. I think
on card auto with an event patch or something.
Oh,
like
is
that?
Well, so I'd rather have both sticker with game worn.
All day. Yeah. Sticker with game worn all day. Yeah. That was the debate.
I want some dirt on it. I want, whatever, like the
blood.
The blood.
Oh, man, that would be awesome.
Can we get the bloody sock? Like,
have you seen that? What is it? Is it a Ginter card? Or it's not a Ginter card, but there's that one. So. I sold one a week or two ago on a live. The Kurt Schilling. It's like it might be Allen and Ginter. I forgot which company made it, but it was a bloody sock card where it shows him pitching, and then it has like an up close picture of his sock too on the side.
That's cool.
I sold the one of the best game worn patches I've ever sold was Kobayashi game used patch, and it had hot dog juice on it. Like that. Dude, was elite.
Did you see? I don't know if this will get us in trouble here talking about it, but like they were getting burned in the chat a little bit. But Alt was showing a Kobe Bryant card that was autographed, I think, or something. But they were saying that like the back of it was his nail print, and then everybody was like, "We don't know where that came from. It could have been a myriad of different things." But it was pretty interesting.
Case Boy hit a Kobe Bryant.
Oh, yeah.
Here's an interesting question. What would be your dream game used? Let's go modern era. So since we've been born, not go old timey. What would be your I would love a game used turn ahead the clock card of like King Griffey Jr. Remember when they had those sleeveless turn ahead the clock uniforms in the late 90s? I'd love to get one of those red Mariners ones with the big, whatever the North
needle,
whatever that's called. Yeah, in the middle. That would be sick. Do you guys have one you'd think of? Probably an Orioles one for you.
Oh, dude, that's what the Leaf Trinity patches do that. But yeah, I would love like an Eddie Murray. Let's say we'll stick with baseball. Eddie Murray, Cal Ripken Jr. dual old school Oriole logo patch like from the jerseys. Like that would be sick. I like. A lot of people don't like them, but I like the batting glove. Like the batting gloves and the cleats and stuff like that.
The cleats are awesome.
So I would like to see like what about like a Carlos? I mean, I don't have a big Carlos Boozer guy, but this is just an example. Like a Carlos Boozer like headband patch, like game used like head. Didn't he wear a headband?
He didn't wear a headband, bro.
Who? What? Who wore? I'm sorry,
Boozer?
Because you're Carlos.
No, I was a Jazz guy. I don't think he ever wore a.
Who wore the? Jason Terry wore a headband.
Yeah, Jason
Horace
Terry.
Grant had the glasses.
Let's go. Oh, I would love like a line of give me like the early 2000 guys, like a Bonzi Wells or something that just wore nothing but headbands and get pieces of the headbands.
Dude, Jim McMahon. He wore nothing but his headband back in the day for the Bears. That would be an awesome one.
So Jabari Smith Jr. plays for the Houston Rockets. I might have told you guys this story, but I used to go to the Rocky Mountain Review when I was a kid, like a teenager, which is summer league in Utah. And his dad, Jabari Smith Sr., that's his dad.
That's his dad?
Yeah,
Thank you for clarifying that.
Just messing around.
Just so people at home didn't know.
He played for the Kings for a couple of years. And I remember like, hey, man, can I have shoes or something from him? And he's like, I'll give you my headband. So he gave me his headband after he played, and I literally wore that headband playing basketball for like a year and a half. It didn't help. Awesome. I was still 5'9", a 5'9" unathletic center, but I had a sky hook that was pretty deadly.
So you got me thinking as you guys are talking about this. Well, first off, mine would be the Randall Cunningham 1987 rookie jersey patch, like that the old
Kelly
school
Green.
Eagles, the Kelly Green with the old school Eagles logo.
That
would be awesome. But it got me thinking, like, why don't we have hat patch autos for baseball? They do special edition hats for game that have like a little patch on the side, or something like that, and then make like
we'll get the logo on the back. That would be cool.
That would be cool. Like why don't we have hat patch cards?
Well, I would imagine. Now this is where it would be interesting, and it's kind of like like intertwines everything, right? And I know I feel like I'm at. Like,
all right, we're about to enter the Matrix with Timmy. Right? Timmy Hot Hands. Let's go.
So like, like what if Topps Fanatics has the license and they buy out National Treasures, and now we're talking 101 logo man baseball? Like that's always been like the thing, is that like when you buy National Treasures baseball, it's like, damn, like some of those cards in National Treasures are crazy in baseball, but it was always unlicensed. And like now, like the license is going over. Like, is Topps going to be able to? I doubt they'll be able to work something out with Panini, because I think we've talked this to exhaustion at this point. But like they're going to have to find something that's like, it just sounds crazy, but is as affordable as National Treasures is at that high level, because the top stuff that's high level is even more expensive sometimes than National Treasures, especially for baseball, albeit because baseball was non-licensed. But like, they're gonna have to find a way to do 101 logo mans with the baseball patches. Like that'd be sick.
They don't need to buy National Treasure. I mean, Topps is going to have baseball, football, and NBA licensing.
But National Treasure's the name. Like,
I get it. They don't, but they can just create their own new product, identical to National Treasures in a way, and just roll that out, and then have patches.
But they're going to have to, but it takes time to get people to come around to it, right? You know what I'm saying? Like National Treasures is National Treasures.
If it looks good and the patches look amazing and they sell well, it'll take a couple of years at least.
Because Topps has like what Decadence and like a couple of others that's like, like $20,000 a box for like 3 cards.
Do they have one where like you got to put in like a code and stuff, and then like do like a retina scan or something?
Yeah, retina scan, and they need a blood sample and a bunch of stuff like that. Urine samples, like it's crazy, sample. Man. They unlocked that thing. Yeah, but no, I mean.
Sorry, Tim. They need a urine sample. Me and Tim are screwed. We've been roiding up, guys. We're trying to catch up to Raj.
But look what they did with the debut patches this year. They don't need time to roll it out. Like if it's a good product and put hype behind it, they can roll them right out, man. They're a machine right now.
Yo, speaking of card collector too, remember when the Paul Skeens card was going to auction? Everybody was like, how much money is it going to be? And I said $1 million, and everybody thought I was crazy when I said that, right? And that the word, I don't know, this is not word for word, but pretty damn close to a quote. I said that it's the purest, best one-of-one card in sports cards without a doubt.
100%.
And now people are starting to say that too, because they're realizing that with all the stuff that's not game used, like it is the ultimate collector's item. Like that is the best card that you can buy of a player, no matter what. I don't care what anybody says.
So think about this. The Hall of Fame would reach out to the teams to request players' debut jerseys, everything else. Why wouldn't they? Cooperstown and stuff like that, because they want to put that up there just so they have it, just in case something comes. Like it makes total sense. It is the most purest and the first, because you're putting in sports cards, memorabilia, all in the
ultimate rookie card. In imaginable. Everything that makes a rookie card interesting being the first card of a player, and then actually having, give them credit for everything that you might not give them credit for, or we might not agree with Topps on. The MLB debut patch and all the debut patches they're doing is just a brilliant idea, and it makes a lot of sense. And it solves the game used problem. It creates a new chase that we didn't even know we wanted. It's cool.
How more?
Here's a good. Hold on. Here's something cool though. I was thinking about
Sabo with the goggles, bro.
Chris Sabo goggle patch,
dude. Jose Rio, dude. He was dominant.
Are you two done?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. Now think about this though. When are we going to get Super Bowl patches, World Series patches, NBA Final patches, and then have a specific product come out just with those patches from the game and stuff like that? That's going to be huge. Like could you imagine? Like if the Carolina Panthers won their first Super Bowl, I think that's ever gonna happen. But like they won their first Super Bowl, you know what I mean? Like you had a patch from the original first time they ever won the Super Bowl, that game used, like that would be massive.
That would be worth at least a base LED De La Cruz Topps right there.
So find it in the dollar boxes, at the.
I do want to say shout out to all the Spotifyers.
Oh yeah, we got some questions. Yeah, Tim's all about the Spotifyers. It's
I want to make sure that the people know that we're for the people. No matter.
Shout out to everybody whose friends records this and gives it to them on a bootleg CD. Shout
Yeah.
out to those people too. We're listening to this on a bootleg CD.
Yes, because no one's doing that. But all right, let's get down to business here.
Mixtape
No,
written
no
on
bangers
CD.
mixtape.
No bangers mixtape. It's the worst idea ever.
Like it'll be the three of us on the cover, like printed out of like a printer that's running out of ink, and it's like streaks and like the reds are pink.
I love it.
It's on one of those bootleg discs that skips every time
Yeah,
you
you're
get a
gonna
bump in
see
your
that
car.
randomly. You ever walking down Jacksonville, or if you're in DC or you're in Tampa, and you see one of those flyers on a pole next to the lost dog or whatever?
It's been up there for 5 months. You can't read it. It's like all messed up, man.
Hey,
Like those-
National, what's going on, guys? Shout out to the National. You know, get with us, one of us. The email's in the description below. We're ready. Put the posters up. We're coming. So
That's
let
right.
us
We're
know
coming
what's
to
going
National,
on,
man.
where you want us to set up and all that stuff.
we all three of us will be at the National. We will be there. I think the whole week, right? You guys all going to be there
every
the
day,
entire
all
week.
day, bro.
Yeah,
have
are
you
you
decided-
ready though, Rob?
We're
Because
talking.
Dude,
This
We're
is
talking. We're gonna be elbows deep in the bargain boxes, dude.
we're gonna have to get Rod and like literally pull him aside on day one and be like, bruh, we got 4
Rod
more
doesn't-
days left. Okay.
Yeah, Rod.
4
Yeah,
more
dude.
days
well,
left.
here, I'm flying.
Unless you want to do a whatnot every night or a Dibdit Cards every night, you're gonna have to.
Listen,
Pace
I'm
yourself.
flying, so I'm gonna have to pace myself. I feel bad for you two because I'm just gonna stick everything in your cards. You know,
That's
all my
fair.
Is
cases.
Dave really going?
No,
No.
I don't think so. But
No,
the
he's
way
not gonna-
Dave's going, I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up
Yeah.
going at some point.
Okay, if he does go, like he has to be the cameraman.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
Well, my brother's gonna be there too, so he'll come over and help us for a couple days.
Don
for
will be
cameraman
there
and stuff.
for at
And
least
Don
some
will
of
be
the
there
days,
too.
too,
So, all right, so let's get down to business here. Did you guys see UFC? We're doing patches now. We're finally getting UFC patches.
We told them.
I know they listened. You know,
Listen.
so that's
Where
why.
are they putting the patch?
Yeah, that's my first thought. Where's the patch located?
Where do you
Is
want
it
it to be located? That's the real
I
question.
mean, it should be like on the hip, right? Or else it's going to be very sweaty.
Ooh, that's gonna be.
They're all sweaty. You want a sweaty patch, though. You listen. You guys come on here and say you want hot dog juice. You want dirt. Like you want the sweatiness out of there. You
So-
want to open up your pack and just be like, man, that smells like a locker room.
Could you imagine?
You watch more UFC than I would imagine. I don't know. I speak from for myself. I don't speak for Cary, but you watch more than I know. Like so like, what would be the ideal patch? Like, is there something? So like, is this gonna be? It's gonna be different than like a logo, man, because that's what a debut patch is different too. But it's on the it's on the sleeve for baseball. What do you think the ideal patch would be? Don't they have like UFC gloves that they wear? Like, would
So-
that be the ideal patch?
No, you couldn't put a glove on the patch because you remember, like when you're punching someone, like any substance on there could cause a cut, could cause anything additional. So,
But I mean, that could be on dude. That's gonna be interesting because that's a brutal sport. There's a lot of fluids flying. Like,
dude, that's what I'm saying. Could you imagine getting a bloody debut patch?
well,
in your-
can
bound to
you
happen
get
at some point.
Is
I
that
don't know.
legal?
I mean, or can they sell that? Like, are maybe they can't sell. That's actually a great question for Tops. So Tops, if you're listening, please comment in the
Yeah,
down
Tops,
below
let
here.
us know. Can you sell a bloody UFC patch?
Logo patch there. So that'd be interesting to see that. Baseball got some big news this week, buddy. I know you're a big baseball guy. What about all these call-ups coming, man?
Yeah,
There's a huge
yeah.
call-up.
Jack Caglione's like that's huge. It's going to be interesting to see how he does. I mean, that his stuff is already like he's one of those guys that's like, these happen every once in a while, right? Where a guy's like comes out, he's the number one chasing a product. Like Bowman Draft was outrageously expensive, mainly because of Jack Caglione. He performed all the way through that into the 2025 release, right? And his stuff is still on fire. A lot of times you see some price drops. His stuff, he's performed this entire time from when that draft dropped till now, and now he's getting the call up. If he performs at the big league level, you're looking at astronomical numbers.
Ellie
for
De
that
La
stuff.
Cruz in mid-hype level, you would say? I mean, who knows?
I think even. I
Yeah,
hate
but
to
what would
say it.
happen? Because nobody knows the future, right? So what would happen if he just struggles like a lot of guys do?
His stuff will drop, but not like
Well, we
not
saw
crazy, but
we saw
it'll
that-
drop in the mainstream like Jackson Holiday.
Jackson Holiday was about to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's,
So, like-
it seems like such an interesting thing, though. And once again, I don't want to give any buying advice and speculation. Be careful with all that. But like, there seems to be a lot of guys who go up, they struggle, they go back down, their hype's gone, and then they come back up and they play well. And it seems like when people are paying attention, they can find some good deals.
Absolutely, 1,000%. Like, I bought a lot of Jackson Holiday in the slump. Another guy who I bought like that too was Gunnar Henderson. Gunnar Henderson was a big hype going into his rookie year.
He was.
And he was batting under 200 for like the first like 2-3 months of the season, and people were losing their minds. They were selling off Gunnar Henderson. And he ended up, if I'm not mistaken, he ended up winning Rookie of the Year that year. I think he did.
You should know you're an Orioles fan. How do you not know this?
Dude, it all blends
You
together.
like your guys, bro.
Give us your card. Give us your Orioles card right now. Like, you're cut, dude. You're cut from the team.
You
Well,
are
yeah,
now
I made a lot
Red
of money
Sox
on
fan.
that.
Yeah. Well, you can be a Phillies fan. Maybe be Tampa Bay Rays. I don't know. Wherever you want to be. Now he's on the Google. He has to jump on the Google machine right now to look it up right now. But no, with this being said, Tim, so you made a good point. Do you see there's more potential in these prospects that have a lot of hype that
He did
come up?
win Rookie of the Year. I'm not tripping.
Okay. So my question to you though is, you have these guys that have a ton of hype. They get called up, they go in a slump, they get sent back down, they come back up. Do you see more potential right there with their cards, or how about when these prospects maybe it doesn't have as much hype, didn't have that hype coming out of the gate, slowly works their way back into
Definitely the second one,
the
because
second one? Okay.
the entry level for Jack Caglione, like, there's rare instances. Paul Skeens is a rare instance, and that's mostly because he's a pitcher.
Yeah.
But you could have bought Paul Skeens' first Bowman Chrome autos for probably like $100, and at the height of Paul Skeensism, you probably could have sold it for like $600. So like, that's a sort of like, but like, that's not my level of risk. Like, I don't like to spend $100 on one card. You know, like, that's just the type of guy I am.
You want 125 cards.
Exactly. Because out of those 125 cards, I could get 3 or 4 guys where like I'm making from a $3 card to a $30 card. Like, so like, that's why I always tell people when like a Jack Caglione, this would have been a prime opportunity for you to buy all the like Jack Caglione stuff that wasn't the $100 plus cards, because a lot of times people want to buy the best card to flip, right? But to me, the buy is the first Bowman Chrome base, the first Bowman Chrome refractors, the non-first like 2025 like reptilians and stuff like that, because all of that stuff is going to go up the same percentage but more money. Like, it's I saw it with Ellie De La Cruz. When Ellie De La Cruz was like, it was on and popping, his base Chrome cards, non-first, were selling for like $5. Yep. Those are like 10-cent cards. So imagine if you bought 50 of those 10-cent cards and you sold them all for $50. Like, that's where the play is. That's definitely where the play is.
Okay, makes sense. What about this play? Did you see this? The Pope is bringing that smoke.
Look
Rod,
at you,
Rod,
dude.
No, listen.
Did Chad write
listen.
that for you before the
No.
podcast?
I'm being dead serious though. You didn't hear about what happened with the Pope and the smoke?
There's
Dude,
like a smoke variation.
was he rolling
Yeah, the
Jays?
smoke. No, the smoke variation. Look at this thing. Can you see my screen? The Pope white smoke card is going for crazy money right now.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. So if you
No
guys
pun intended.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That was a good one,
was
actually.
good.
Holy
There's a lot
smokes.
of, there's
Yeah,
a
well,
lot
is that
of
where that
dad
saying
jokes
comes
going on
from?
right now.
No, it's not where that saying comes
That
from.
might
I don't
be
think.
because
Are you
that's-
sure?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
it might,
Maybe
dude. It seems
I don't know.
that is a
No.
holy smoke, right?
I don't know, but how crazy! I can't believe we didn't talk about this before. But the Pope outsold the John Cena WrestleMania card. He outsold LeBron James. He outsold pretty much everybody's Tops Now card. The Pope outsold everyone.
How long?
now-
How long would you buy a base Pope Tops Now card in the dollar bin? I would.
Shout out to Dan in Demand, who is a seller and a good friend of ours, but he's also a seller on Dibdit Cards. Next time he goes live, tell him that you want a Pope card, because he
he has
ran
them?
one the other night and nobody bought it. And I was live with him, and I was like, what are we doing here? Do you guys not realize how hot this card is right now? Like,
Dude,
buy the Pope.
crazy how hot the Pope cards are. So he's from Chicago. Do you think he'll be at the National?
Oh, that's a good question.
See, I guess.
But wait, doesn't he have to like move to like Italy or something like that now?
I think he's already in Italy
He could travel, right? He could hit a card show up, probably.
Bro, he's the Pope. He can do whatever the hell he wants to do.
Well, he'd have to ride around in like one of those plastic boxes, though.
The Pope-mobile?
Pope-mobile.
The Pope. Can you imagine?
Can you imagine hotboxing the Pope-mobile?
Oh my God. This is just going. This is just going.
I can.
Oh man!
It looks like one of those boxes where you go into at the carnival and it has like all the money flying around and you got to grab as much of it as you can. That's what the Pope was riding around in, basically.
The Pope, we're gonna get the Pope just got canceled. There we go. There we go, buddy.
Who's the official plexiglass sponsor of the Pope?
Yeah, I feel like 21 episodes was a good time to go ahead and tap out. We did good though, guys.
Yeah, we had a nice. We had a nice run, guys.
We had a good run.
We're just getting started, ladies and gentlemen.
Man, oh man. All right, so we got a couple breaks coming up, man. We've been doing a lot of non-sport breaks on Dibdit Cards, which has been really, really good. We've also we got a Pokemon starting this week, so guys, make sure if you're into Pokemon, we're doing a Pokemon break on there. We've doing a Bowman break this week. Actually, tonight I'm doing a Bowman break, and then next week we'll be dropping Series 2 baseball. We'll do a couple breaks on that. Tim, you have any? Have you found a checklist yet for Series 2 at all? I'm gonna put you on the spot here on that one.
No, I don't think the official checklist has dropped yet.
Why do they do that? Like, I don't understand. Like, if you want people to buy the product, why are you waiting to drop the checklist? Is there a reason behind that? Like, what is?
Because it's a little bit of both. It's like, do you want? It's like preloading an item for an auction. Sometimes you want people to know the price of the card. So like sometimes you want people to know what's on the checklist, but then also you want people to buy off of speculation also. You know what I'm saying? Because if you give them all the croissants, you know, then they're not going to have any room left for the egg.
Yeah, put that on a shirt, somebody. Can we get
what
three
did,
sets
what did
of
you
those?
Just say?
No, we all need to wear that shirt, and then on the back just say no bangers. Like it's like no explanation. Don't even say it's a sports card podcast. Just let people guess.
Don't put all your croissants on the table, okay?
Yeah, don't put all unless you're gonna have eggs. What did you say again?
I don't think he even knows what he said. Like that's the worst part about this situation. I think he just made that up in his mind as he was just trying to fumble through that statement. He's like, let's just put the croissants and
I like it.
Let us know in the comment section below.
Down below, and let's
what
figure
your
out
favorite
what he was trying
breakfast,
to say.
Your favorite breakfast bread is.
All right.
Because
think about bread, man. This guy hit some bread on Dave. ADH
Davey lava hands over here.
Lava hands over here. Did a Guardians of the Galaxy break on Dibdit Cards. It was like $20 a spot, and they hit the Chris Pratt out of a 25 auto. This is $1,000+ card. I couldn't believe it. I was watching it live, man. Dave's been on fire. He hit multiple Stranger Things autos in there, and this one though, this is the biggest card we've hit so far in breaks on Dibdit Cards in the last month. So
let me ask you this, because I had no idea the demand and coin for a Chris Pratt auto. Did you know immediately,
yes.
Or did you realize it after you looked it up? Because I remember you putting in the chat like index cards sold for like $200.
I would have thought offhand personally $300 is what my guess would have been for that. I'm totally surprised on how much they go for.
He's an A-lister when it comes to movies, you know what I mean? So like that's why I knew right off the bat that it was going to be a big time card. And a lot of times the A-listers aren't going to conventions, signing at like conventions. It's mostly the B-level guys or the C-level guys that go there, because I go to a bunch of them, get a lot of their autographs, you know, or the TV show guys. But major movie actors don't do this. And
yeah,
when
guys,
they do private signings,
he's a big deal, dude. He's the voice of Garfield, guys.
Is he the voice
of Garfield?
He's on a triple auto with two other people. I forget who it was.
Could you imagine
it was like a $10,000?
Could you imagine getting an Upper Deck Garfield, Chris Pratt auto? Oh my god, who played Odie in that? I want to look that up.
Rod.
No. What? Listen. Let's get back. Back to where we go here. But all right. Well, this podcast has gotten off the rails. We're at the 45-minute mark.
Okay, before we continue.
Yes.
Spotifyers.
Oh, yes, Spotifyers. We have some questions.
Harvey Guillen played Odie, by the way.
And also played third base for the Chicago Cubs in 1993.
That was Ozzie Guillen.
That was White Sox.
All right. Let me
That's true.
let me jump into a couple of the questions here we got on Spotify. We have Bryce. Bryce says, I love your show, and I have a question. I'm an adult getting back into buying cards now, and I have a son. I'm not really a collector, and I'm certainly not a flipper. I want my son to love cards the way I did in the 80s, opening, collecting his favorite players, and trading. How can new collectors enjoy the base cards and not waste valuable cards they might pull?
It's a good question. I mean, I don't feel like you can. Your kid's gonna like it the way they like it. They may. It's never gonna be the way it was when we were kids. They may, but I would encourage them to get into whatever cards it is they like. So if it is something like if they're leaning towards Pokemon because that's what they think is cool, then support them in that. And if it's sports, it's just changed. Back in the day, like I would flip around the cards to see what the stats were. It's not necessary anymore. We've got apps. We've got the computer to tell us what stats are. So it just.
I think the big difference is what Cary is saying too is that when we were growing up, base cards, that was the card. There weren't other. I mean, there were some inserts, right, which we all loved.
Oh, yeah.
That was like a big thing, and then obviously the hologram was a big thing. But unfortunately, now card sets aren't just base cards. So it's harder to appreciate the base card the same way we did in the 80s and 90s. But I think Cary hit it right perfect. I think the big thing is you want your kid to connect with his favorite player, or on his favorite team, which is a lot more difficult these days too because players are switching teams so much. So I think that's the big thing is just to find what you like and just go at it, right? And don't let them get sucked into the high-end influencers. Let them get sucked into the low-end influencers like Rod, myself, and Cary, and that's where you'll find your
them,
sweet
like
spot.
when you pull a card out and you go, I love that photography. This is my team right here. I'm a big, not just Bobby Witt fan, but I like Vinny Pasquantino or whatever his name. You know what I mean? Talk to them about why you like the cards that are base cards.
Oh, that's so.
Get them a binder.
Yes.
Get yourself a binder and start putting together team sets or sets.
Start with Stadium Club, something like that.
Stadium Club's a great one, I think, especially baseball wise. To get that Bo Bichette card? I think I saw it on Instagram again. Somebody talking about how great it
Vladimir
was.
Guerrero Jr.
Well, there's so many beautiful Stadium Club
it's
cards.
think about it too. That's a perfect one, right? Because that's direct lineage from something that you collected in the 80s and 90s that's still being made today. It's Top Stadium Club, right?
So I'm going to go a different route, though. I'm going to say sprinkle in some non-licensed product because it's very cheap, and then he can have literally open up a pack of cards and point out autographs like Sage or Leaf, where you're guaranteed autographs per box for $20-$30 because it's the feeling of hitting something, out of those boxes. It's a great feeling.
Do what I do, or I'm sure what a lot of everybody does, is when I get a random dude, instead of going, that's junk, look it up. Who is he? Where'd he go to school? Is he any good? Is he still in college? Oh, is he, is he on any lists of rankings? Is he the 7th in Division II or whatever? Maybe start following those guys, rooting for them and stuff.
I think the biggest thing, though, you guys said is finding a way. You almost need to find the gateway drug. Find something that he really enjoys to connect with him on. If it's Pokemon, if it's non-sport, if it's entertainment cards. I mean, I'll use ADH Dave, one of our partners here on Dibdit, and he did not like sports cards. He would go do flea markets with me and Cary, and he would find sports cards for us, but he wanted nothing to do with them until he started to. He was a big Stranger Things fan. He opened up his first box of Stranger Things. He put an autograph. He's like, "Oh, these are really."
You got that Joe. You got Joe Cary or whatever.
Yeah, he got the hit. He's like, "Oh, wow, these are cool." So then he bought another one. Then he bought more. Then he started expanding to Marvel and other things he likes. So
now he's telling me yesterday he's got $2,000 in his DA Card World shopping cart right now.
Yeah, because he's enjoying the whole process. That's the biggest thing. Is you have to find something, a way to connect. And he's a big movie buff. You guys at one point in time did a movie. Podcast. Yeah, that was a big failure.
Yo, it was a monster failure. It might still be up there. AI Picks Podcast, be one of the dozens to not enjoy it.
Speaking of Dave, that literally just reminded me. I don't have a CD case here. I sold some CDs.
How are you gonna ship your baseball cards? First, I think that was the first or second episode of Trash to Cash, my other podcast. where Dave was explaining to me that he sold a card for some reason and he shipped it in a CD case.
Yes.
And he had to return, he had to get it, refund him. I'm like, dude, what are you thinking?
He's a lot better now, though.
Yeah, no, he's a lot better now.
He ships. We've taught him how to ship in the last 3
and
4
open
years.
packs and everything else. But
yes.
All right, Josh Bailey has a question. When building a business, would it be better to focus on gaining followers first, or where should I lean in with intentions of live selling? I'm afraid of doing months of getting no audience with 0 bids.
Easy answer. Dibditcards.com. www.dibditcards.com.
Yeah, we have all built up like a following here, and then we kind of transfer it over there. So you will, if you put up some decent stuff, you may have a little bit of a better start over there for sure.
I would say
it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. No matter where
there's a
selling
trade-off,
live.
man. You're going to have to sell. You're going to have to build it everywhere. Social media takes a grind. It takes time. It takes some, not necessarily money to like put ads in, but like it takes money to make videos and learn how to do it. And the same with building an audience on live. It's not going to you're not going to turn on any place and immediately make 80, 90, 100% comps consistently. I don't still consistently do that. So you just have to buy smart as you possibly can, get as best deals you can, and just have a good time, be a good vibe, and put good deals out there, and your following will grow wherever you go.
I talked about this with Dan the other day when we were doing a live stream together, live sale. Because there are going to be times where it's going to be a rough auction.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. But you still got to have fun.
correct.
Because the way that you react, no matter how an auction is going, live selling, is going to be reflected to the people that are watching and or buying. So
100%.
like if they feel like you're not like happy, like I mean we've seen people crash out on Whatnot over the years, where they just end the stream and like refund
slamming
everybody.
cases.
Yeah.
Chat.
But no,
Exactly.
it's
Like
a good point, though.
I saw a guy like I mean he was a kid. He sounded like a kid. He couldn't have been older than 14.
I put the silver Jalen Ramsey in a one touch.
This is a mag, people. This is a mag. And then like the guy was like freaking out over like a Michael Harris card that was a rookie snap numbered to 50. And in my mind, I'm like, my cheapness, I bid $10 on that. I'd figure it's probably like a $30 to $50 card. And I mean, the card got up to like almost $30. And I'm like, this dude, that's a good flip for a live sale. And he's like losing his mind. He's like, this is a $50 card. What are we doing? And I'm like looking at comps. I'm like, it's really like a $35 card right now. It might have been a $50 card a long time ago, but it's about a $30 card right now. So like that's the thing too, is authenticity, being real, being honest, being knowledgeable. All of those things come through the screen. So I think that's the biggest. It's just like creating content to a certain extent.
But I think the biggest mistake people make with live selling is they don't treat it like a business. Like if I had a brick and mortar, it may take me a month or two to run into the positive because I'm building up my audience.
It may take you a year or two. If you have a brick and mortar to start.
Yeah, it's not like they're lining up around the corner to buy your cupcakes, on opening day, like because there was like an article on Sex in the City or something,
Yeah.
But like
I read sexinthecity.com all the time. And if I heard about your cupcake place, I would travel.
You look like the type of guy that likes cupcakes.
Do I?
Yeah, you do. You just have a cupcake face.
We got a place up here called Anything Bunt Cake.
Oh yeah.
And they make like specialized bunt cakes with like icing and like all these different flavors. So they have like snickerdoodle, confetti, strawberry cheese, like Oreo cookie, like they had a churro.
I hope you guys are hungry listening.
And they make
I want Rod to know that under these layers of fat, there's unused and deteriorated muscle. Okay, but at one time there was actual muscle there.
They have like all different sizes. So they have like the bite-sized ones. Then they have like the personal bunt cake, like this big.
Dude.
Then you can get like a bunt cake box with like all different sample size bunt cakes, and then you could get one flavor medium-sized bunt cake, and then you could get like the big bunt cake. It's like $30.
What's your favorite flavor?
I like confetti, and I like Snickerdoodle right now.
Bro,
Those are my
we
two.
literally going to have a whole conversation about bun cakes? What the hell is wrong with you two? Damn it.
I was going to let him go for a while.
No, yeah, I know you. I know exactly what you're doing.
Sometimes it's about letting our friends just have a moment where they're. Did you see the joy?
No.
I can see the joy. Tell us below what your favorite flavor of bundt cake is.
No, don't tell us.
And what size? Would you want the small one? Would you want like hamburger size one? Would you like
back
the one?
in here? Just pulling the rope back.
The comment section is going to be off the charts this week.
Man, let me tell
Comment Sex in the City article down below.
All right, so Josh asked a question. He asked another question. I think this is a really interesting question. Is there such thing as a regional card buyer? Like, why isn't there an organization or group that focuses on
A what?
A regional card buyer.
Regional card buyer?
Yes, that's the question. What he means is like a group of people or people that travel and buy out-of-team markets and funneling them into their own market.
1,000%. That is a big thing. It's crazy 100%. You say that because I had this conversation with the guy I bought the cards from at the card show this weekend about like he buys all of his Pittsburgh stuff when he comes to the Maryland shows.
Correct.
And brings them back to Pittsburgh, and he brings all the Orioles stuff from Pittsburgh down into the Maryland DC region. Like like I will tell you right now, the price of Jaden Daniels rookie cards here are astronomical. $12 for an absolute rookie card at the card show this weekend of Jaden Daniels.
There's a high demand. That's why.
So it's 1,000% a thing. Like I always, because I travel, I get in my car, and I'm not Cary, I don't complain about a 45-minute, drive to a card show. Okay, like I drive 2 hours sometimes to a card show every weekend.
I drive everywhere.
Yeah, I'm just
I
busting
drive
your
long
balls.
ways to a lot of places.
I'm just busting your balls. But yeah, that's a big thing, man. Like because if you can, especially if you're a card show dealer. Like, it's a little bit different when you're online, but at the same time, I was talking with Rod before we went live about my organization with all my teams. Because, like, with live selling, somebody might go to shows all the time in Chicago, but and they can't find their Cubs and White Sox and Bulls and Bears at reasonable prices, so they go to a live seller online and try and find those cards for a better price. So, like, yeah, it's a big thing, big part of the market. I don't know if they, advertise it as a regional card sellers, but that's a huge part of card dealing.
If you go on YouTube, you watch people like I'll use Card Dealer 2 because you were talking about him, Card Collector 2. You were talking about him earlier. Like when you see him out and stuff, he's buying Ohio State, he's buying Cincinnati, he's buying Cleveland cards because his shop's in Ohio. Yeah. So when they're out and about, like they're picking up these cards and these things because they need that in their area. Because like you said, you're paying a premium. Like if I go to a card show in Tampa, like I'm paying a premium for Rays, I'm paying a premium for Buccaneers, where anywhere else in the country, like no one's paying a premium for Tampa.
Yeah,
Bay
I went to the Tampa Bay card show, one of them with you here a couple months back, and I'm like, oh wow, Kate Otten is hot right now, and then I had to think about him. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in Tampa Bay. That makes sense.
So I'll tell you that this is what makes some of these card shows that I go to really interesting. For one, being Chantilly, right? Chantilly and we'll use this as before I talk about national. Chantilly has dealers from all over. So people come from Florida, they come from New York, they come from Pennsylvania, they come from Texas, they come from all over to sell at this card show. So like you might go to one table and find like Andrew Painter cards from the Phillies at like $20, right? But then you may find a few Andrew Painter cards in a box, the dealer right next to that guy for like $2. So like it's really interesting. And then think about that magnified at national, where you have people coming from all over the world to sell at that card show, and they're bringing stuff from their own regions. Like that's what makes like the pricing game, especially for what we do as far as, non-showcase buying at card shows like of that magnitude. There's stuff you're going to find in a $1 box at one table that you're going to find in a $10 box at the table next to it. It's super fascinating, I think.
Yeah. I agree too, man, with that. So we got this question on Spotify, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on this question because it's something we've kind of talked about in the past, but so I'll just quick answer it here. In regards to this topic, if backyard breaks applied to sell Dibdit cards, would we allow them to sell breaks on there?
Ooh,
And
good
the answer would be no. And the reason for this is when we started Dibdit Cards, we wanted to offer more of a family-friendly atmosphere in there. You know, we don't want people to go in there and do all the antics that we're doing. We literally screen everyone that does breaks. We want to make sure that we can protect our audience. But more importantly, it takes years to build up a reputation, and it takes minutes to lose that. And the last thing we want to do is go against our word and what we said about that. So we take a firm stance of no, we would not do that.
I mean, 1,000% we would let them do that. Yeah, I mean, look about all the money.
No, not at all. Not at all. Now, listen, the money will come. Like, money is not everything. Like, people don't realize, like, they get blinded by the money. And that brings us to a big topic today is, you know, our corporation is going to start taking over the sports car world because we have a lot of interesting things starting to happen here with Dick's Sporting Goods, with GameStop, with Walmart. And we need to talk about this because I want to know, man,
we're an hour and 18 seconds
I was going to say we broke the record.
This is a record.
Yeah, but I mean, is the hobby that we love in jeopardy, or is it going to be changing for the better or for the worse going forward here? So let's start off with GameStop. And what brought this up here is GameStop announced, the CEO came out and said that, and I'll tell you this, because this one hit home for me because I used to sell a lot of video games. And one time I was only a video game seller on eBay for a long time. But they announced that they're going to be shifting away from video games, doing more focus on TCG and card market, which I thought was pretty interesting. But if you look at their fourth quarter numbers from last year, they did $100 million in collectible sales. So that's nuts. With that being said, they also announced that GameStop will no longer be allowed to do pre-order releases for Pokemon cards in store and online. And then they also announced that they just had a massive Pokemon had a massive release. The Rockets was it Team Rocket
or something.
Yeah, it came out and stuff like that. And GameStop did their very first show on Whatnot, and they were selling those cards, and those cards were going for like I think packs and stuff like that, and boxes were going for 20-30% over the what they would sell in store. So that, I mean, that's a lot to unbox here. That's just GameStop. We'll talk a little bit more about Dick's Sporting Goods here and Walmart and what's going on with those guys. But man, what are your thoughts on this, man? I mean, are we in for a major change here coming with sports cars going forward?
I'll say this, okay? One, this is interesting on the Whatnot aspect of it because it's just another prime example of Whatnot not caring about smaller sellers. And they're going to promote the hell out of GameStop going live, but they're not going to promote, Bo Naylor selling Delino DeShields cards at, 2:00 in the afternoon on a Thursday. Okay. So
that's a choice though, too. Like go hardcore on Delino DeShields at 2 in the afternoon on a Thursday. You're making a choice, and I respect it. I respect it.
But like that is, just from that aspect of it. And then as far as like the in-store stuff, I think that this is something that you see a lot, especially in the card world, okay? How many times do you see people like, I'm getting out of the hobby. I'm selling off my collection, right?
All the time, man.
All the time.
All the time.
A lot of these companies that are doing this, they see the money, right?
Yep.
And they see the opportunity, but they don't see the work. And I know they're big corporations, and that's something that they probably are, doesn't bother them as much. But in the grand scheme, in the end of things, there's gonna be a lot of overhead, and like a lot of these companies make their money on margins. Whether it's product, whether it's overhead, the employees, whatever. That's how they make their millions is on margins. I think that they're going to eventually realize that it's a lot more work and a lot smaller margins than what they're used to doing, especially for like the Walmarts and stuff like that. GameStop's a little bit interesting because they're smaller, right? So they can kind of make that
smaller, bro. They have almost
they have
1,000 stores. 1,000 stores nationwide.
Walmart or Dick's,
bro. 1,000 stores nationwide. That's not small.
That's small. Let me. Walmart has the only thing that employs more people in the United States of America than Walmart is the United States government. Did you know that? Walmart has the second most employees of anything in America The only person that has more people working for them is the government, and we all know that's going down a day by day basis. But like GameStop is small in comparison to Dick's and Walmart.
GameStop I mean, Walmart has 4,500 stores nationwide. GameStop has 2,300 stores.
Yeah, they're half the size of them.
Okay, but still,
also
that's
like
not
GameStop has what, like
3 employees?
3 employees and 2,000 square feet of store, and Walmart has 200 employees.
Listen,
and I don't know.
We're comparing apples to oranges, but the
feet
fact that you're saying GameStop is a small store. They're not a.
They
small
are a
entity.
small store. Look how small a GameStop is. GameStop is the size of the produce aisle at Walmart.
I could run a GameStop in this room I'm in right now.
Physically size, but like as an actual store, I mean, as a business, they're not.
But
small,
but I'm not talking about the business. I'm
Okay.
talking about the store, right? Like it's a lot easier to transform a bedroom of video games into
Walmart
a bedroom
has
of cards.
empty. They got stock rooms with extra like mops bigger than a game.
Hey, touche. I'll give you that.
Okay?
Right?
So it's easier for GameStop to do that.
Sure.
Now this is the problem. Now you have to completely change your employees, right? Because not every Joe Schmo who knows about Atari games knows about Bowman prospects. Right,
Sure.
So like now you have to hire.
It's sad to
people.
see the Atari aficionados being weeded out of GameStop.
Yeah, right.
50 years later. All right, 50 years later.
They got to retire, guys.
No, most of them are dying on their way
I mean,
out.
Rod, when you went into the GameStop looking for VFriends, what did they say to you?
The employee didn't know what VFriends was. I'm like, it's
Exactly.
on your website, but
So,
they didn't
like,
have it either. So
The people I think that might have the biggest concern here are going to be LCSs, right? But LCSs have had their back against the wall from the beginning of time, so they know how to survive, and the way that they survive is going to be the human connection in comparison to what these other corporations are going to not going to be able to provide.
Also, being not a big corporation, they have the nimbleness, right, to change things up. They can go heavy. They can start doing more content to make money off content. They could start doing more single sells. They could sell on 7 different places live if they want. They could double down on dibditcards.com, America's favorite place to buy and sell cards, allegedly. They could do that.
But I mean, to go back to playing devil's advocate to what you said, Tim, about taking smaller margins and selling online, but if they're getting brand new product and releasing it, and they're getting 20 or 30% over what they would in the stores, that's a huge...
Whatnot the first time they went live, though.
I'm saying is every time they knew a new product release where all those people that actually bought it at their stores or pre-order it, now they no longer can do that. They ship that same amount of orders online, and now they're getting 10, 20, 30% more than what they got in the stores. That's a big increase to their bottom line.
But how many people are going to be that stupid, though, for that long?
Bro, supply and demand. I mean, this is why we have StubHub for concert tickets.
But are they making this decision based off Pokemon being so hot right now and all this kind of stuff? I mean, that stuff's not going to probably be hot forever like it is.
They're shifting because here's the thing is they're shifting their, as you always say, you need to adapt and change.
Adapt and adjust is the term.
Adjust. Okay. So I don't know if you saw video games are now going to retail price to 80.
I was the first one to say it, and then Tim quickly took it from me.
But like video games now are $80 brand new. So like video game prices are going up. Their margins are so much small. Yeah, $80 for brand new games. Their margins are so small. My stepson, and I'll tell you this, like he's 16 years old. He would rather, instead of waiting in line, and I talked about this before, I would go to a midnight release at GameStop, wait in line for 2 hours, get my Madden football. Then I would sit in the car, read the manual and everything in the way home, so that my stepson waits the midnight release or 3 a.m. release, downloads it and just starts playing. Like, so that aspect of video games is no longer there. You see a lot of mom and pop shops that were video game stores throughout the U.S. are now transitioning into cards and more or less TCG
cards,
but they are also dabbling in now sports cards, everything else, and yeah, they are turning more of a sports collectible, not say sports, but more of a collectible store. So we are seeing a shift, not just in the sports card market, but also in these mom and pop video game stores.
Barnes and Noble, go into a Barnes and Noble.
Yeah,
like I mean, they have massive, like collectible sections, including sports cards now.
Yeah. Absolutely.
They're adapting and adjusting as Tim trades.
Ace Hardware, their majority of their demographic is going to be male. They literally have little sections of cards you could buy in certain stores.
So that makes sense, right? And I think that Dick's makes sense too, because like if you're taking your kid to go buy a baseball bat and there's a pack of cards there, and you could buy a bat and a pack at the same time, that makes sense, right? And like I think,
what about Joann's and stuff? I've been into like Joann's and places like that, and they had some sports cards.
Fabric store?
I think I was trying to think of the one I went in Vegas. I think it was Joann's. Yeah, I think they got them, and it was hilarious too because they had. You could tell they were dusty. They were from like the hype of 3 or 4 years ago, and they had like a contenders draft picks. Like Jabari Smith's rookie year, and it was like $35. I'm like. Yeah, I think I bought it for the video.
Shout out to the CVS I went to the other day that had Score 2021 behind the counter. Like it was,
they're waiting to cash in on that gold mine. Forever buys it.
But Walmart is probably the one that's the most interesting of the three.
Well, here's the thing: is so Walmart's starting
Walmart's
a reselling
big player in reselling in general right now.
So they're literally moving over to the reselling market. You can go on their website, you can apply to sell, and they have a website very similar to like an eBay where you can go in there and put items up for sale and sell them on the secondary market.
Yeah,
anybody who's done that.
Yes, absolutely. And they've done very well.
A lot of people in the card market might not know this, but you go onto Walmart right now and you go look at sports cards. A lot of the people, if you order something, you're not buying from Walmart. You're buying it from a third-party person, which could be just like somebody like us, that's just going to ship it to you. And simple as that.
What Walmart's doing is they're going after Amazon, and Amazon's market where
they're the ones that can.
Yeah, they're the ones that can. But so my question to you two is like, as this starts expanding, because Dick's Sporting Goods is talking, they're opening up their what they call it, like the dugout or whatever it is. Like they just spent $1.1 million for the Paul Skeen card to put on display for a sports card section in their store in Pittsburgh. But they are going to be expanding these little like sports card sections in multiple stores throughout the U.S. Let's fast forward a couple years down the line. Like, what's stopping Walmart from doing that? What's stopping Target from doing that? What's stopping a lot of these big corporations from doing that? Or Fanatics? I know Fanatics said they don't want to touch any of the stores here in the U.S., but they're starting to open up these shops internationally. They're opening the first shop in London. Yeah. So, like, what's stopping these big corporations from starting their own little mom and pop shop, which expands out, a franchise or other things? Like, this is something we don't have in the card world.
Or whatever.
Board members.
What about board members?
That's what's going to stop them.
The GameStop.
There's gonna be a handful of people that are like, you guys are living in your childhood dream. This is not gonna last forever. There's no money in this. Let's just go back to selling 1999 mops and call it a day. Okay.
Listen, no, absolutely not. Because when GameStop drops their quarterly numbers and they show $100 million in collectible sales, that's gonna get other corporations' attention.
No way. Walmart's selling $100 million a quarter in collectible sales. Not a chance in hell.
Dude, you don't think they're selling? I mean, they got to be.
No. Hell no. $100 million?
Oh, they're doing more than that right now.
In collectible sales on Walmart in a quarter.
Yeah, look at their stores. Look, they have
counting. Are we
counting Funko Pops? We talking?
We're not counting
cards,
profit, right? We're talking gross, right?
Yeah, we're talking gross sales.
Yeah, they do that in the sports card section all over. I would imagine with Pokemon and everything.
Dude, they have 4,500 stores.
Yeah, they do a lot more than.
How many of those 4,500 stores don't even carry cards though?
I would say
everybody in my comment sections apparently doesn't have.
My Walmart down the street from me doesn't sell cards anymore.
Well, why is that though? Do you know?
I don't know for sure.
Okay, I don't know. Like I'm trying to ask you,
because of where I live.
Is it because there's something bad happened there? Like, are people stealing it? Like, was there a fight? Like, that's what I was going to say. Is because there's Targets I know that stopped selling it after they had a gunfight in the parking lot, or they had a fight break out in the store, or something like that. Like, is there something that happened there that stopped doing that?
I don't know. Maybe I'm just a firm believer that I think that. My main thing is that this screams to me the people that got into it in the COVID and was flipping retail boxes, and then when the COVID bubble burst, they were like, "I want out." This is what this screams to me. Is this whole like corporation getting into sports cards that like few of them are gonna last, and for most of them it's gonna be a fad. Like Dick's makes sense. Like I said, bat in a pack. Sure. GameStop makes sense because it's an easy turnover.
Yeah.
But like, I think that's where it's gonna like kind of be the end. Like,
okay. Well, with that being said, then what about this? Jeff Wilson sports card investor. They have Cards HQ in Atlanta. He said in multiple videos that his ultimate goal is to start franchising the business out and start opening up these big shops throughout every major city. Why wouldn't it happen?
He can't. This is allegedly, and this is all just Tim speaking, okay?
Yes.
But he doesn't have the power that I think he thinks he has. I think there's more people in the industry that dislike him than like him. There's no way, and like it's almost like we would have to start a union of LCSs to combat some of this stuff. Like, bro, you have your HQ in Atlanta. That's cool. But you're not about ready to come into DC and drop an HQ. You're not ready to go to New York.
Why?
Why? Because people aren't going to want to shop at his store.
What?
One. Two, because the backlash for the hobby is going to be greater than he can handle. His ego will be able to handle to actually do it. Do you know how much money it would cost to do that? Like he's going to run out of money.
Franchising, though, right?
No,
you're talking about franchising.
No, not just franchising.
Cards HQ name.
Here's the thing: is
and
if
then running
you already
it to certain
have
specifications,
a successful business with a proven track record,
is it a successful business with a proven track record? Do we know that?
I'm just saying right now.
We don't know that though.
Well, hypothetically speaking, let's just say hypothetically speaking, successful business with a proven track record, and he has the sales numbers to sustain that. That's so easy for him to go to a bank, get investors or someone else to invest in this. I'm not saying it's just going to be him. Why couldn't he get a couple investors to come through and start? He's like, hey, this is a proof of concept in Atlanta. Let's start expanding to the major markets.
Go to different places. Go to like Washington D.C. and you could be like, Cards HQ by John Riggins or something.
Yeah,
you could go up to New York and do like Cards HQ by Alan Houston.
No way.
Different people.
It wouldn't work.
Tim,
the people are gonna be like, "Oh, you want me to invest in you? You wanted me to invest in Will Greer." What are we doing here?
I think you're looking at it through a very narrow lens, though.
There's some diamond hand people out there still holding their Will Greers, by the way.
Probably, yeah. That's I think it's funny. One of his videos, his son bought a like Will Greer football or something. They gave it to him. Like I thought it was just funny. They can troll him on that. But no, yes, he gets a lot of hate on the internet and stuff like that. But listen, they just signed a deal with Yahoo to be the sports card news for Yahoo. They have
horrible decision by Yahoo.
Listen, hear me out though when I say this.
I guess I'm not checking Yahoo.com anymore for the 27th year in a row.
Yeah, it's like, but here's the main thing: is like, yes, that percent. How much of that percent is going to be a very small percentage, maybe 5%, 10% of the hobby? When you
no.
Listen, hold on.
More than 50% of the hobby industry dislikes Jeff Wilson and Cards HQ and everything that they're about.
The hobby you see online is a very small percentage of what the overall hobby is.
Are we talking 50% of the vocal people on the internet? Or
that's
you're
very
right.
In general.
I think there is a good argument there, Tim, honestly. Like, a lot of people are just casually watching videos occasionally, and they don't get as deep into it as a lot of people who are in the Instagram and on the YouTubes and stuff.
Dude,
I don't know if it's as high as that.
I'm telling you, it's a very small niche community we have online.
Definitely within probably like the Instagram active community. I think that's an argument.
I'm talking about, for somebody like me, who is at a card shop, who is at a card show or a card shop every single weekend.
Bro,
how many people
about
do
like
you
the
think
guys who
really...
go to Walmart when they get paid once every other month that like cards casually?
Correct.
That's a different crowd.
Tim, you're going to a card
crowd,
show
right?
with 100 tables. Now that's huge. Don't get me wrong. That's big for like a card show and stuff like that. I'm not crapping on card shows with 100 tables or anything like that. What I'm saying though is
I love those kind of
shows. And I love those too. That's a very tiny. That's just a blip on the map, man.
But how many of those 100 table card shows happen every weekend across the country?
Correct. I understand what you're saying this, but what I'm saying is the general idea is if we had a big shop in your town, now that was giving prices, packs of cards at a reasonable price, had a ton of extra product there, you would by default almost have to go to there to buy that product because
I feel like
anything in there.
Cards HQ isn't for, like, theoretically, if it grew, it's not going to necessarily be for the hardcore grinders doing it every week like
100%.
us. It's going to be for the random people who casually are thinking about cards every now and then, and they see a big old shiny billboard and go, maybe I can find some Pokemon in here or something. That might be what it's for.
We don't need that.
Maybe
the
we
hobby
don't.
would reject that. Like
You're speaking in absolutes. You know what I'm saying? Is like you're saying we don't need that. How do we? What happens if they brought in a whole new layer of people that we never had?
I'm talking like it's like a lot of times when I do like TikToks, right? Like, and I'll do a box, like a pack opening. The pack opening is not really for the hardcore people necessarily to get viral. To get viral, it starts going to the people who like. I opened packs with my dad in 1989 when we went to the gas station. They don't even collect cards anymore, or they casually are interested in cards. So I think that next layer up beyond the hardcore hobby, which we're all a part of, I think that's where the play is. I'm not saying we should or shouldn't have a Cards HQ in every. I don't care personally, and I totally get like within the like card dealer community and like card shows. I think Tim has a good point there, but I think
agree.
beyond that. It may work, it may not.
I almost hope that it happens because then that might be the absolute massive final straw that broke the camel's back and the downfall of Cards HQ and Jeff Wilson because it would be an epic failure.
Here's the thing. People like us, guys, we're going to be selling cards because we love it in 20 years, no matter what happens, if we want to, if we're still into it, which I'm sure I will be. So all these other things could ebb and flow and change, but ultimately I think long term.
Side note. Because I heard this earlier today, and I need to know how to properly say it so I don't make myself look stupid anymore.
Like me?
Is it ebb and flow?
Ebb and flow?
I thought it was ebb and flow.
Ebb?
No,
and flow?
Ebb and flow.
Like a river, right? Like an ebb and then a flow.
So what is an ebb?
An ebb is like when it goes in.
An ebb.
Like,
an ebb.
An ebb.
Okay. I just want to make sure I don't butcher that movie.
I don't think anybody said the word ebb in 100 years casually beyond that phrase.
yes.
Unless you're like a river doctor, whoever studies rivers. I don't know.
Doctor.
What are they called? I don't know. A riverist?
I don't know, but I would like to meet a river doctor.
Yeah,
was Quinn the medicine woman a river doctor?
Probably. She was a doctor.
And she was on the river a lot, if I'm not mistaken.
Are you two done?
Yes.
Okay,
no,
good.
Wait, no.
Where's your mute button? Where's the mute button?
Mookie Blaylock.
We're not playing this damn game.
Josh Childress.
But listen.
Oh, that's a good
Tim,
one. Josh Smith. Should we just go like mid-2000 Atlanta Hawks?
Atlanta. Wow, that's a deep
Marvin Williams, Utah Jazz, great number 2
North
pick.
Carolina alone.
Yeah. Go on and rise up. This one's for you. Wave it around like a helicopter.
Okay, you two are done. That's
North
it.
Carolina.
But no, Tim. Going back to what you're saying, I understand what you're saying about the hobby community. That I'm talking about the outside of the normal realm of people, man.
I agree with both of you guys on that.
Yeah, no, I think. Listen, here's the thing. So here's my next question to you: what's stopping a GameStop or someone else starting their own convention? Like one of these major corporations starting their own convention and coming into that.
Isn't that already happening?
Rod, what are we doing here, man?
Dude, I'm asking, man. These are legit questions. Like,
doesn't Fanatics? Fanatics has Fanatic Fest.
Like Fanatics is doing Fanatic Fest. Like,
you could go GameStop Fest.
Yeah,
why not?
You could go shoot a puck at a laundry, like at a washing machine.
Yeah,
you can tell I don't do laundry. I almost called it a laundry machine.
Bro, by the way, did you see the Fanatic games they're doing?
Dude, yes. How awesome would it be?
Did you
I
send
would
the video
compete
in,
in that. I haven't seen it, but I heard them talking about it on one of the podcasts I was listening to.
I don't know why, but I'm very not interested.
Okay, so for those who don't know,
I am interested because I'm uber competitive.
You're
like
ex-athlete.
I immediately my mind went to.
I'm an ex-theater kid.
How do I train for this? Like, I mean, like I pretty much got all of this stuff on lock right now. Like, I mean, I could do all of these.
You think you could do all that stuff, but the minute you're on the field, you're blowing a patella, whatever that is.
Explain the audience what this is. So at Fanatics Fest this year, they're taking 50 fans, and it's like the average Joe show, but taking like 50 athletes and 50 fans, and they're going to battle it out in like different games, like 3-point shooting, throwing a football.
But you have to have a ticket to Fanatics Fest in order to be selected.
And then you had to fill out, you had to make a video online, submit it, and like all this stuff to do it. I am disappointed, Tim, that you did not submit a ticket for this or try to do it.
Well, I'm not buying a ticket to go to Fanatics Fest.
You would buy a ticket to go Fanatics Fest if you got picked for this event.
But I have to buy the ticket first.
Oh, you have the ticket first?
Yeah, you have to have a ticket in order to be qualified.
Ah, okay.
How much does it cost to go to Fanatics Fest? $2,000?
No, it's not that much. Like $50.
Yeah,
Maybe.
right.
No, come on. For the
Go
average,
look at the tickets. Go look at a regular.
Are you crazy? $300 bare minimum for.
I'm not.
the
Yeah,
tickets at Fanatics
I am
Fest.
seriously not interested in like Fanatics Fest as far as going. Not for any like political reasons or anything like that. It's just it's going to be
dude, it's
expensive.
$60 a day.
Yeah, it's $60. There's.
No different than
I'm worried
Nationals
that there would be
25.
many cards to look at in my price range, right? And then I don't care about getting a photo or an autograph or meeting Emmitt Smith. He's cool. And I think he's a great player, but I don't care about meeting him.
That's because you pulled a 1-on-1 Emmitt Smith out of your box that's autographed.
Yeah,
that's
I've
why you don't want to
already
meet
got
him,
it.
right?
Exactly. If it was Tony Dorsett, I would be very excited. That's good.
Yeah, no, I don't have. I mean, like, I don't know. I guess it's a lot. I feel like last year it was like $250 for a ticket.
That was the
that was
VIP.
like the three, yeah, like the VIP.
The VIP in the 3 days. I mean, here's the cool thing about like Fanatics Fest and the National. They do a lot of good releases. So it's almost worth getting a ticket
Oh, the Cactus Jack one should be released.
The Cactus
right?
Jack releases, and so that makes. All right, what about you two at the National this year? Are you guys going to buy some of the hot releases that come out, or the National exclusive releases?
I mean, do
I'm
the
definitely
Silver
going to do.
Pack
I
program?
legally have to do another one of those Panini packs.
I think
I didn't do it last year.
the day you
I was
die,
very
Cary.
cheap.
Here's the problem. Here's where you have to not feed the brain saying to buy 200 packs or something. I think I might just do one again.
Just
and then
one?
I'll do, or maybe a couple. See, that's the problem. I want to do several.
He's
But
already
at
spent
least-
$700 in his mind
How
already.
much?
I
was,
think
how much
we're-
was the optic box you bought? $60.
$90.
Right?
That was
$90.
the cheapest like buy-in for those
Yeah,
packs.
so like
then
that's
you-
the only way I would do
I know
it.
me
I
and
would have to buy
Tim
the
and
cheapest
maybe
box.
you. I mean, I think me and Tim will split at least another one of those blowout card.
I'm down to do those, bro.
boxes.
That would
I
look
think
awesome.
we'll do a couple
can
of
you-
those.
Our entire Airbnb is gonna be filled with empty packs.
Yeah, we're just gonna have
Every
so
night.
much 2019 optic baseball, just looking for Vladdy rookies or whatever. Getting a sky blue Vladdy rookie worth $8 is gonna be awesome, bro.
Let us know down in the comments below if you guys are coming to National, so we can look out for you guys there. But let us know. We're gonna need something to clean up our room with all the packs.
Yeah, if we don't get surprised at least once with somebody just yelling no bangers at us, well, I think we'll be disappointed.
Yeah, better than getting kicked out. Hope you don't get kicked out.
No, don't. Yeah, do it within reason. Don't get yourself in trouble.
Get you kicked out. You two.
Yo, what if somebody came up like you're digging in a box and they just whispered in your ears, "No bangers," and they
Like
just walked
sexually?
off?
Like-
That'd be no, not how. No.
What are you doing here, man? Like, what kind of? I mean, I know we're an hour and 26 minutes into this
This
thing,
is
but
what
like,
happens. But that's a boss move. They just whisper "no bangers" in your ear and they just walk off. Never say who they are. We don't even know if they're a fan of the show.
Or if they whisper, Delino to Shields.
Oh, dude. Dude, what if... Dude, man. Dude, if Delino DeShields was at Fanatics Fest, I'd be there.
oh wait, yeah, he's actually going to be there. I think. Hold on, let me look. Oh, looks
Dude.
like here's going to Fanatics Fest now.
Oh, there we go, dude.
Talk about putting your foot in your mouth.
I'm wearing my full Expos Delino DeShield uniform.
He was a beast, man. Back
Dude,
in
he
the day.
was good. He was
Yeah,
one of the
good.
better rookies in the 90 Donruss. And
All right,
obviously,
this is
he
the
was an
real
average
question.
player.
This is the real question, okay? For Jeff Wilson, listener. Because I know there's somebody that works for Jeff Wilson that listens to the podcast. Is it Tim Raines or Rock Raines?
There we go. Let us know.
That's-
Jeff, if you're listening, let us know down below.
See, I don't understand that. Well, you're not a big fan of. I understand the hate he gets and everything else, but you know, I would go to if you were driving by, you wouldn't go to his store.
I
Check
went
out
to
the
his store, and he's always been super nice to me. Like, I
Yeah.
don't have a big issue with Jeff at all.
Yeah, I have no ill will towards
Okay.
the guy. I don't know him
Well,
personally.
you just said you want the business to fail if they opened up in every store. So I'm just curious.
Well, I just there's parts of what they do that I don't like because
I get it.
a lot of times it sounds like they don't know what they're talking about, and all they know is the hype that they've been fed that they feed to others, and that sometimes rubs me the wrong way. That and the one interaction I did have with him was extremely. It wasn't even with me, but I was standing right next to him, and the way that he talked to his cameraman rubbed me the wrong way, and the way that they filmed the deal, that was a 5-minute video that took 45 minutes, and the conversation I had with the dealer right afterwards, it was all awkward. So like, yeah, there's that aspect of it, but it's just, to me, it's like, okay, when you say that you want to franchise your store into every other state, what does that sound like to you? Like, let's take out the who it is doing it and all that other stuff, right? Like the Home Depots, the Lowe's, the Ace Hardwares, right? Like when all that happened, what does it do? It eliminates all the mom and pop.
Well, yeah,
hardware
exactly. What
stores,
happened with
right?
the Walmarts?
Like the heart of what fuels this hobby is not Cards HQ. It's the local card shops.
I do feel like local card shops would be affected in ways, but also I feel like if they have a vibrant community and they're doing layers in their shop,
it's not
fine,
just right.
It's not just flipping boxes, but they got bargain boxes. They cultivate. They make sure there's good deals for people. I think they'll be okay.
So going back, not Cards HQ, but going back to the GameStop concept, like how hard is it before GameStop for the average person that opens just a random pack of cards to get a card graded? Like it's so complicated. You have to go through PSA's website, you go through that.
Well, now do you see what Burbank's doing? Burbank has a PSA setup in their store. You can immediately take it.
That's the point I'm getting at.
But that's Burbank, right? How many Burbanks are there?
Well, I mean, Cards HQ could theoretically do that as well.
Is Burbank trying to open up a Burbank in Montana?
Yeah, maybe.
No.
But no, what I'm saying is
Billings location.
But here's the thing is like GameStop has now took away that friction.
Dude.
People can just walk into GameStop.
Is anybody broke out at Yellowstone yet? You know those are like my pet peeve videos if we want to get into that. I don't understand why we got to open a pack everywhere. Why do we got to be in a plane opening a pack? Why do we got to be at a beach opening a pack? And then it's never good audio.
Boy Jeff Wilson.
It's never good audio.
Up like $300,000 worth of mercury garbage on the airplane and told everybody it was going to be the next big thing. And what happened?
The pack openings. This is my thing. Like pack openings should be about the cards, right? Like what you get or don't get. That's what a pack opening is. Who cares about us opening them or the location? That's my hot take.
Okay, out of all the optic we've tried to get downtown out of, even though we hate downtowns, right? We're trying to pull the people at downtown.
Yeah.
This guy Mojo, shout out Mojo, he watches the podcast. He opened one pack on a jet ski and pulled it downtown.
Are you
It was either downtown or uptown. You didn't see it?
No,
yeah.
no,
Could you imagine that? Like you get like a number to 10 or a Pandora downtown of Jane Dunya in the middle of the ocean.
How do you top loader somebody?
Yeah, do you think he had a top loader in his swimsuit or something?
Well, somebody was filming him, so I'm sure they were on a boat and he was able to secure it in a secure location. But yeah, pack on a jet ski, Rod.
I guess maybe they are good videos.
I got one for you. Don't worry.
And we're thinking about them. Maybe they are great videos, and I'm just missing the boat.
Listen, if it gets people to talk about it, it's good for the industry. If it's bad or good, man, it gets it out there, gets people discussing it, and that's what you want, man. So they're doing your job on social media. I hate to say it.
When we're at National, we should definitely open some packs at McDonald's.
No, I thought we could do
we should do a whole parody thing of let's find the dumbest places. Let's go out like behind the convention.
We're in the urinal here at Chicago
at
Wrigley Field, and we're going to open up a pack of Series 1.
And it's got to be like the worst packs we can find too.
It's got to be like
it's got to be like a 1991 Harley Davidson motorcycle card pack or something. We're looking.
Dude, you're one of those old fashioned like troughs where they just have like no things, just standing there, just opening up packs of cards.
We're at the national. We're at the national trough, opening up a 1992 Disney Mickey Mouse pack.
All my children, all my children pack.
You're at the vegan restaurant, opening up pack of cards, just in the elevator, just random places like laundry room.
We're at an abandoned Kmart.
Oh my gosh.
I miss Kmart. I miss their cards.
I used to get cards at Kmart, dude. Collector's choice all day. I would get.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Shout out to all everybody that made it to 1 hour and 32 minutes and 53 seconds.
You got 32 scorching minutes of the topic, which we probably talked about for 3 of those minutes. I don't even. We kind of talked about it.
Me and Tim just battled back and forth there, and then you played referee and in the middle there. Like, okay, I see your point.
Cary, Switzerland.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm Switzerland in this because you guys both had, and honestly, with the Cards HQ thing, I'm not as adamantly against it because I don't really care. Like, if it's local, it'll be one of the card shops I go to.
It's a good way to expand the market. So the whole point to this is we don't have that national card store like we have a Walmart and all these other places that people can go to.
Do we need one? Yeah. I don't want one at the expense of local card shops.
Yes,
I will say
I
that.
agree.
So if it did actually legitimately affect local card shops that are good, I would be upset about it.
Absolutely. So I get that. But all right, guys, I think final words. And if you say damn players again, I'm going to just mute you right now. All right? I'm telling you right now. I'm going to mute
Warwick Dunn.
That's it. You're muted.
Oh,
That's
man,
it. You're muted.
He was a beast.
Okay, you're back. Now we're done.
D'Angelo Hall.
D'Angelo Hall. Florida State worked on.
Rydell Anthony.
All right, Tim, give us the no bangers. Let's get
Jonathan
it in.
Stewart.
Eric Rhett.
That's a good one.
He's a good running back. Yeah.
Good one. For the. All right.
Terry Allen.
Oh yeah, dude. Terry Allen was good. Gary Clark.
Peerless Price.
Ooh, Lee Evans. If we're gonna go receivers, mid 2000s of the Buffalo Bills.
Michael Westbrook.
Ooh,
Michael Westbrook.
Yeah, he was good. Colorado.
Yeah.
Let's go Cordell Stewart. If we're gonna go Colorado.
Rashawn Salam.
Kajana Carter. Penn State.
I did a
Penn State.
No
Kajana Carter.
Kajana Carter.
Not even excited about it.
I am super excited. My dogs are barking out through the window though. Right?
No bangers on 3. 1, 2, 3. No
bangers.
You better have done it.